Big up, big up, big up, and welcome to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm the Liverpool 12th Man, and today we are joined by the Irishman. How are you doing, Brian?
Pretty good for a Monday. It's not too bad.
Yeah, you don't have a case. I know you don't. I know you don't say that saying, but case of the Mondays. But it's all good. It's all good. One day, I guess you'll get it. But
Oh, we get the Monday blues, man. Don't worry. The Monday
Monday
blues.
Blues, yeah, that's another name for it. But
Yeah.
one of the good movies out there that I like. It's called Office Space. It was done by Beavis and I believe it's the creator of Beavis and Butthead. I want to say
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge, yeah. And really, really good movie. One of those movies that kind of like if you've ever worked an office job, you kind of like click into it. And one of the things is I think someone's having a case of the Mondays. That's what the girl says in the office, and the guy's like, he looks at her like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about?" Oh man! But big up, big up, big up to Bernie, big up to Philip, big up to
Very
everyone
good.
that's joining us out there. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can say hello.
Just saying hello. Yeah, just saying hello. That's all.
Um, and yeah, today is another just so day in the news. I guess you could say not much that really percolating in the news, but there were
Little bit.
some, I guess, like, I wouldn't call it a reach, but it's certainly some news out there that kind of perked my interest. And we're gonna get into that in a bit. But what's been how was your weekend? Pretty much, Brian. Before we get into all the news, how was your weekend?
Yeah, it's pretty quiet. I enjoyed the Saturday watch along was fun, even though it was not the result and the goal scorers were a bit of a meme. But
Excuse me.
yeah, I mean, it was a nice weekend. I saw you guys didn't do too well then afterwards. You're probably happy that you watched on for that one.
Yeah,
It would have been two losses. We would have been 2-0 or 2-0 on watch alongs if we'd done yours
yeah,
as well. So
yeah, yeah. That wasn't a good one. I, you know
and
what it is? I've had to.
Potch's first
No,
game, was it, or was it a
no,
second
no.
game?
See, that's the whole thing. Poch
Second game.
hasn't took. Poch hasn't technically. It's such a weird situation going on with the U.S. men's national team because Poch technically has not taken over for U.S. men's
Oh,
national
okay.
team. He's still in Europe, so he's still collecting Chelsea checks, and I think it like is related to that too. And that
Yeah.
as long as he technically quote unquote hasn't taken over um, the mantle of U.S. men's national team coach, he still gets to collect his checks. So no one wants to get in the way of your money. So we're just waiting for the official transfer of power to go. So it is what it is.
Good old
Uh,
gardening leave.
yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah. Hello, Barry, and hello, Callum. Barry saying
Yeah.
PSG want Mo Salah next summer. They can want him all they want. I don't think PSG has that much appeal to. I just don't think they have that much appeal to Mo. Really, I don't know if you have a different opinion, but I think that ship or that like sliding door has basically moved on. Do you think they have? Do you think they have like a real shot at him? Obviously, they have a shot if he leaves, but I mean on a free. But
Yeah. It's see the thing about like I've been, totally convinced now that he doesn't really want to have anything to do with going to Saudi, so that's probably where he'll end up. But PSG seems kind of sideways. I'm not really sure. They're not. It's not like, oh, that's given me as close to. There's no guarantee, but it's say as close to a shot at maybe a Champions League. PSG don't give you that. And what's he going to be thinking? Oh well, I've always wanted to win a French league title. No, I don't think so. Are they going to offer him like astronomical money? He's going to be an older player. Then he's not going to be a young player. So I really, like you said, I don't see the appeal there. it's a great club, great city. If it's just maybe it's just about wanting to go and live in Paris, maybe it
Right.
might be them. But other than that, like what's what's better for him going to winning maybe a Liga or staying and win another Premier League? I don't know.
Mhm.
That seems sideways to me. And like I said, I don't think they're going to be in. Oh, don't worry, Mo. We'll give you 600 grand a week. I don't think they're going to do that. They've kind of changed the way they're they're doing their project. They're focusing on younger players anyway.
Yeah.
So one to me would be very much low down on my list of where he's going to end up
Yeah.
in a top 10.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with that too. I just think that PSG, ever since it's been a slow little bit of a I would call it decay or ride with the way that they've kind of brought in players and the way it's kind of like fizzled out, especially since they couldn't hold on to Mbappe. You would think that the team that is his home city, much less one of the biggest clubs in his home country, necessarily can't hold on to their player. PSG is not saying PSG doesn't have appeal. They do. They certainly do. But I'm just saying that some of that. Remember, we were calling it, I guess, pull has certainly diminished somewhat. I would say with PSG, and I think that them going forward, especially with the way that the PSR affects Champions League nowadays too. They're starting to put a little bit tighter rein on their spending. You know what I mean? So,
Uh-huh.
so
It's a very interesting. I mean, they they said it before. Like I was watching a thing about Mbappe, and they were talking to one of the boys there, and he's saying, look at PSG. He said it's just absolutely crazy. He said the day we go out of the Champions League, he said that's our season over. He said, that's it. It's like literally the whole season is just up in smoke. They couldn't give two shits about winning a league title. They couldn't give a damn about winning a Liga. All they care about is winning the Champions League, and the chances of anybody winning the Champions League is whatever to one, right? Then the chances of someone like them doing it, no matter how much, like they had Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. Now I know Messi was pushing on a bit, um, and they still couldn't. They had all these other players, and they realized they looked at all the players that they let go, all the players that they could have had in their academies or their youth setups, and let go. Didn't They went on and do other things, become better players at other clubs, and they've realized that that's probably a better way to do it. But because the fans are in revolt about how the club has been run, but like, what is there to do there? I
mhm.
mean, you're almost guaranteed. What's winning the league there is probably boring for a player. It's just like, yeah, well done. That's the
Well
minimum
done.
expectation here.
Yeah, yeah.
You're getting paid 10
If
times our
anything, if
squad.
winning the league, yeah, winning the league is a given. It's like one of those things where it's like you come out. I mean, albeit if you win the league in Premier League, it's an incredible accomplishment, but it's still an accomplishment to even get in Champions League, considering the high level of parity that is in the league. It's still a difficult task to do. For some clubs, it would be an accomplishment. For some clubs, like our own, yes, we set our bar at being winning the league, but all the same, it's still what I'm trying to say is it's not an easy feat to get into the top four, much less to win the league. In like as in it would be headline news if PSG were to not make their to make Champions League. That would be headline news, I think.
Oh
For
hell yeah!
you know for because in all conditions considering, not like they got a point deduction or something like that. Like they had an equal opportunity to make it. That'd be very very interesting. So
Complete disaster for them.
yeah. Um. So
One
there.
second.
Yeah. Sure. Um. Big up also to Cedric. How you doing? And Red Armchair Supporter. Hope you guys are well. Um. Before we jump into that news I was speaking on earlier, I'm going to wait for Brian to come back for it because it's. I wanted to get into some of our players playing abroad. I know it's been a tough little break I think it was fortunate for us to have. You can tell me different if you believe in the chat, but I think it was fortunate for us to have um, this break come because we knew it was going to come eventually. We knew this break was going to eventually arrive, but if it was going to happen, at least we got it after beating the Red Devils, basically beating Manchester United, because that rivalry game helped us kind of like break into it. A lot of these games that we're watching go on
Right.
now, no problem. A lot of these games now that we're watching are pretty, a little bit lackluster of bouts. Um, uh, Obviously,
In
the England game versus Ireland was a big game simply because of their own rivalry, but um, it was still not necessarily a fantastic game. I think that it was certainly a game which was unfortunate that the two scorers were former Irish or people that could have played for Ireland but chose England. And it was also a case where in the headline news there was some stuff about Trent actually, and Trent and Gordon basically, because Gordon was talking about how like he was upset that he had a great opportunity to score from Trent, and basically, you know, bumbled the opportunity. Big up Bonkers, by the way. Big up Bonkers. Yes, Kumas is going to get a cap for Wales today, or in the next Wales match. So we also have you know who else we have? Ben Doak. Ben Doak's going to be getting an opportunity to make to make a splash in the uh, international waters. That pass
is
from
that
Trent was absolutely incredible. By the way, there was Red Orange supporter. That pass was,
yeah, you someone else on the end of that might have been different, but
yeah, end product, right?
yeah,
Mr. Gordon. Um, Let me get this all put in for us too, because I wanted to also get into. Like I said, I've got some cool things to bring up today because I wanted to definitely get in on um, Virgil van Dijk as well, because Virgil had a game this weekend and
yeah, making
played pretty
some
well.
big statements.
Yeah, that was what I was going to bring up, is the statement that he put out there. Let me bring this bring this over for you and present it. And it was a pretty wild statement to see, because I think now we've seen basically from the three candidates that are about to go or about to become eligible to leave on a free and start talking to teams, actively start talking to teams if they want to in January. Um, we're starting to see their I guess you could say their angle, or they're starting to see more of their take of where they stand. Um, because I mean, if some of these players wanted to leave or wanted to do their own thing, they would obviously say comments, or might not even say comments, might try to like avoid making a comment so that they can kind of be, um, you know, still appreciated the by the um, by the fan base, and not bring that that ire to them. So let me bring this up. So there was a report by Sky Sports, the Sky Sport Premier League, put out this. Let me share this tab with you. Bring this up, because this is basically what Virgil said. He said, "At both teams, I am still Virgil van Dijk, the big leader, and I certainly want to remain that for the next 2 years." This was Virgil van Dijk has indicated he wants to extend his stay with Liverpool via the Mirror. He had spoke to his own teammates as well, in that they gave him some type of appreciation award, and it was for him having 75 caps with the national team and being the leader of his national team. He made a speech in front of. It was cool to see. It's cool to see that now Grava gets to sit next to him in the locker room, which is kind of cool. And he was, he saw Grava looking up to him, and he was just basically saying how he wants it long may continue. He's looking forward to this journey and looking forward to the path he's on. Gave proper shouts to his family, of course, and then showed respect to his teammates as well. And this guy is I'm proud that Virgil van Dijk is our captain. There were people out there initially before he took over the mantle of wearing the armband that were not really on board with him being captain. We're not really did some question his ability to be captain. And I got shouted down, even though I appreciate Henderson, but I always thought of Van Dijk as being our captain, even when Hendel was our captain, at least in the latter parts of it, because Van Dijk was always there for us. He was always there for us. So, do you have a take on what he has to say here? I know I said a lot, but maybe too much.
I am still that it just says he wants a 1-year extension. I think it's more about he was talking about not retiring,
yes,
which is fine. But I thought people saying, "Oh yeah, that's an extra 2 years, an extra 2 years." Well, it's only one really if you're talking about staying this year and then next season. But it's vaguely positive. But the only real positive is going to be when they come out and sign these deals. Yeah, he's saying like he wants to be here. Yeah, it's all again like someone like Mo. What you're talking about, like where is he? Where would Virgil go that would, really work out that he could go to and he would want to go to, and all of those things. So I'd be happy for him. I'm sure the club would be happy to give him a 1-year extension, and then maybe look at it again after that in another year's time, almost like but. I'd be happy with that if he just signed an extra 12 months. Okay, I prefer he signed on for 2 more years on top of this one. But it's about saying that he wants to stay and all that, but he's not coming out and saying I expect a long-term I want a new proper deal. I've only got so much time left in my career. I want to do this, I want to do that. He seems fairly calm and he seems happy where he is. So it seems like a deal that should be easy enough to get done. But yeah, like I said, it's coming, and you said it's getting to the point where these boys, they're saying all these things now, but if January comes around and someone gets in their ear, and they start making offers, and the club hasn't done this yet, the club hasn't done that yet, these things can unravel pretty quickly. So if Virgil van Dijk is coming out and saying that he's happy to stay and he wants to stay, then just get it done, really. Stop messing around. Just whatever, just give him what he wants, keep him happy, and that you've got a big headache off the table very, very quickly.
Exactly.
So you really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, Rascrov's in the building. Loads of people saying hello to each other. And everyone. I sorry, I had my chat turned off. I didn't realize. I was wondering what was going on. Sometimes you have to turn on the chat. I couldn't see it for a second there. I turned it off.
The streets have arrived. The streets have arrived. So I think that it was unique for him to say for the next 2 years. I would assume that includes this year involved in that next 2 years.
Well, that's the way I read it, yeah.
Yeah,
I read it as he's including this year, definitely.
But I personally would like to see them I'd like to see them give the same deal to Virgil and to Mo, in that I'd like to see them offer them an extension of 2 years on their deals, and have it where it would be in essence, it would be this year plus an additional 2 years. That way, if they are contemplating moving on after this, then that last year of that deal is a year that we could at least get something back for them. We're not obviously going to get full value for them back in them having 1 year left on their deal. It'll be the same thing as this year. But at least in that case, if it was them moving on or they want to move on, then we could at least get some type of compensation to say, you know, hey, if it's a big thing, then we can always just hold on. If it's a big thing, we can ascertain the value of, is it worth staying the year or moving on? Somewhat similar to the Mane deal, basically. Is what I would like to see.
I wouldn't mind seeing I wouldn't mind seeing a situation where Virgil just retires here almost, you know, like.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, you know, he's talking about the World Cup. He's saying, I'm not going anywhere. I still want to play another World Cup. So he's putting a marker down for his future. He's probably telling people I am fit. The big leader thing, I'm sure that was kind of being self-deprecating, a bit of a kind of a joke. You know, it's me, the big leader, you know, because he wouldn't be kind of coming out calling himself that, like.
Right.
It's probably a bit of a, because he was being criticized for not being a leader, you know, by the guys in Holland. So I just think it's a guy coming out and saying he's happy to stay. He's happy to stay. He needs a new deal. Just give him what he wants. I mean, don't give him don't give him the house, you know, but I'm sure he's not going to come in demanding an extra 200 grand a week to stay for an extra. He's going to be sensible. He's going to come in like, get it done easy. You know, he doesn't, you know, he might let him go back to Holland when he's 37 and play a year somewhere, but I can't see him playing anywhere other than Liverpool. I get it. He's older than the typical Liverpool signing and all of that, but you've got to make exceptions somewhere along the road. But then that begs the question, will they do it for two players? Will they do it for Mo and Virgil? But
do you think it's going to,
and
do you think that's going to happen with the mindset that we know that FSG and the club holds with certain players at certain age ranges, and Klopp not being here to fight for them the way that he did for Henderson, or the way he especially fought for Milner to be a part of it. Because I remember when Milner was going through Milner was like 36, 37 at the time or something like that, right? 36,
maybe
I believe.
It's still be here now, man.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd still be here now playing left back if it was up to Klopp. No, joking aside, but these aren't, how to put it, you know, minor players. Salah is a big deal. Virgil van Dijk not as big a deal. Like Salah is Salah is one of the biggest deals out there when it comes to world football and all that commercial business stuff. He's one of the biggest names. So they'll be weighing things up. You know, I know, like, we don't want to get into the weeds too much on what they're going to do, but for us fans, we just want to hear that Mo's signed up for another 2 years and Virgil signed up for another 2 years and Trent is signed up for another 5 years. That's all we want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, there was.
I hope that's all we want to hear. Anyway,
there's
probably some. There's always a lunatic. There's always some lunatic out there that'd be happy to sell all three of them. I'm sure there is. You know, but it's a lot of big decisions made. But it sounds to me like there's at least one guy in the room who's happy to stay. So get him signed up first.
There was talks about it. Like, I know this debate gets often thrown out there about who's the best if Virgil's regained his crown. Something I said last year, actually. It was like a gradual pursuit of regaining the crown, or basically it was almost like the when a champion retires and then like they don't really officially put a crown on anyone's head. No one really holds the belt, I think, but they have it where you have to like work towards winning the belt still all the same. I think that's kind of what happened when Virgil had the injury and had to work his way back to the mantle of being the best in the world. But there was this little stat that I saw out there, and it was kind of interesting to see because a lot of people have put Saliba, they've said, even Diaz is a better defender or better center back. Statistically, the numbers just don't say that, Statistically, you can see the green is on the side of Virgil van Dijk when it comes to weighing him out in comparison from Saliba and Ruben Diaz. So one of those things you can certainly say is if you do come across people saying that, you kind of throw the stats out there. I know some are stat merchants, some aren't, but also, hey, it's certainly even accents more so for not of reason why it would be good to have this player, this leader of ours to stay with the club. He's certainly someone that is putting in some shifts. I mean, look at it. You look at those aerial duels. Look at the aerial duels. One versus the other two players on there. Versus it's 51 aerial duels last year. One compared to Saliba's 18, and even Ruben Diaz is 9. That is exceptional. That is really exceptional numbers. But I know some people don't like to play. And then you look at his accuracy. I mean, like you spoke about it too, about Maguire trying to do a Virgil van Dijk with a diagonal. It just did not work out for him. Having someone with the passing range of Virgil van Dijk makes a huge, huge difference. Incredible player. Very incredible player.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that the top, I know all the, some people don't like the numbers, but I just think the top ones are because like whatever the optic performance index one, I suppose that's like an overall score kind of thing.
It is. Yep.
Where he's 81, Saliba is 80, and Diaz is 81. Diaz is on the same score as Virgil. But even though if you were to look at those things, it looks like, so obviously there's, that's an interesting one. I mean, I don't want to get into that's.
I think it's also because of like if you go further down too, it goes into the like goals, like how many goals.
Oh, it's offenses. That's not just okay. That's it. That's not. I thought it was just defensive stats there. Okay.
Yeah. That's why the optic performance is like kind of tailored towards it because that'll kind of like layer it down a little bit.
Yeah, Pops is right though.
Yeah, that's what Pops said too. Yeah, he just said the same thing.
Diaz and Saliba finished higher than VVD in the table with more clean sheets, so they can't throw. They can throw.
They will throw that in there, but I mean, like that's to say about the clean sheets. It is an important stat. I'm not saying that it isn't, but that's more of a team stat too, though. I mean,
of course, it's a team.
Yeah,
it was more of a joke.
Yeah,
it was more of a joke. More of a joke. Yeah, don't take it too. So I was just saying, like anybody that doesn't care about that shit, to just go, well, he has a league winners medal, so whatever.
I got you.
It's like we all know. I'd say, look, us Liverpool fans, we all know who's the better players. Saliba maybe in 8 years might be some kind of, but Saliba to me is only kind of a new kid on the block a little bit. Diaz plays in a very specific kind of team, and obviously has all the abilities to do so, but plays for a bit of a juggernaut side.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I don't really know about Diaz that much. They've hard to judge Man City defenders, because they never really actually have to do that much defending. Like they're more kind of parts of the system. It's very, you see them like the odd time when they go up against Real Madrid or up against us or go up against someone like that, they get a real game. Most of the time, they're just on the ball, popping it around under very little pressure.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it too is, we did a watch along over the weekend. Again, it was unfortunate that the score ended up the way it did for some, but there was some Liverpool players playing in that game, which was great to see. And there was some comments made by those Liverpool players. So I'm going to bring up some words from those players, and one of those words was from Mr. Kelleher here. This is what he had to say. He says, "I made it clear probably in the last few years that I wanted to go and be a number one and play week in, week out. The club has made that decision to get in to get another goalkeeper in as well, which obviously from the outside looking in, it looks like they've made a decision to go a different direction. He also then goes on to say, make sure you see this one. He also goes on to say, my ambition has always been clear and has been clear the last few seasons that I want to go be a number one and play week in and week out. And sometimes from the outside looking in, it looks like that's 100% my decision, but at times it's not always in my hands. What are your thoughts on Kelleher's comments? Obviously, some of them are just things that we've already been well aware
Watch
of.
the video. Watch the video.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about body language, watch that video. He does not look very happy at all.
Mm-hmm.
As he said it there, we it's just been, I'm not talking about being in the know, word on the street, whatever, but every second week in an Irish newspaper for the last 2-3 years, Kelleher wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Never gets picked up, never gets, people keep being told, and then it's like, no, he can do this. Look what he's playing. He's doing this. It's like, lads, Kelleher wants to leave. We know what he's doing, but he's been trying to leave for about a year and a half now. And he said my ambition, he'd been told the club for the last few seasons that he wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, but look, he's playing this, he's playing that. It's like, yeah, awesome, but he has his own life, his own ambitions. So he seems very unhappy that they didn't get a deal done for him. He probably was thinking, okay, what are they going to do now? Because they got this guy, but they're not bringing him in. So I'm probably going to have to stay. He made it clear there that if it was up to him, that's what that line about, it seems like it's up to me to still be here, but it's not. Mm-hmm. That's what he's saying. If it was up to him, the club would have, or he'd be playing somewhere now. He'd be playing number one in the Premier League for Nottingham Forest or Wolves or Leeds or Brighton or wherever the hell it would have ended up being. So I think you got an unhappy boy there. So hopefully, it's just a bit of a funk because, time is what it is. Time's a healer. In a couple of weeks, he'll be like, right, okay, get my head down now. I'm here for another year. It is what it is. And I'm sure he'll do his best in every single game when he's called upon. But I think he's... he showed on Saturday how good a keeper he is. He shows us every time he gets a chance to play for Liverpool, we see how good a keeper he is.
Sure.
So he won't be short of offers, but I think our price is like a bit.
Is our price too extravagant? I guess you could say is the word.
No, but like I was saying during the summer, I just thought the price that we have put on his head is very difficult for the kind of club that would need a goalkeeper to pay. It's you're asking for a much kind of smaller club than us to use a large amount of money to buy a goalkeeper, and they'd be using that kind of money to buy strikers or midfielders, other things like that first. So I think he was kind of stuck in that bit of limbo. I said he was going to be a domino transfer. He was going to be somebody who would be bought by a club who had just lost their goalkeeper to a bigger club, and then they had money in the bank and a need for a goalkeeper. I don't think that quite happened. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him. I would love for him to go out and play, at a high level. If he wasn't going to play for Liverpool, he's someone we don't have that many top quality Irish players out there, so I don't want any of them really sitting on a bench somewhere, even if it is Liverpool, and even if he does get 10 games in a cup or whatever it might be. But yeah, an unhappy kid, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I get that it seems like we're holding him back, Bernie, but I also think that we're also trying to get, I don't like seeing our players leave for freeze, obviously, but I also don't like our players being undervalued or and sometimes some of our players get put
Well,
into that.
we don't know what we've rejected, do we? Because I've seen someone say it was 27 million, and I
Mhm,
saw someone else say it was 7 million plus
mhm,
Matt Turner.
mhm,
So I don't really know what it is. I haven't seen any kind of Romanos coming out saying nothing less than 25 or Liverpool are demanding X, Y, or Z. I haven't seen a number that I'd be comfortable
mhm,
to say, oh, that's what we're asking.
mhm.
So we might be a bit off on what we're thinking. And like someone said there a second ago, Hollywood, yes, today's price is not yesterday's
Yeah,
price.
yeah. Yesterday's prices. That's a
You
Fat
know,
Joe line. Yeah.
it's yeah, it's I don't know. I bet he's just thinking, why didn't they bring that guy in this
Oh,
year?
okay.
You
Yeah,
know, and
yeah,
let me go out.
yeah.
But it is what it is. Hey, look, he could be in worse things to do, right? There are worse jobs.
Hmm. Yeah, there are worse stuff to have. I mean, like, it's not like they are asking him to mind the horses at the stable, like like some goalkeepers. I mean, that's just a joke to
Yeah,
all the Adrian
he's
fans
going to
out
have
there.
he's going to have plenty of minutes. But I reckon he thought he was out this year. He probably thought this. Excuse me, this will be my year.
Yeah,
Where I get to go and do my thing. But I'm glad he's back in the Ireland setup.
yeah,
Gavin Bazzuno had taken his place, but I always thought that even though, they were doing right by Bazzuno by saying, look, you're starting every week.
yeah.
If you're in the Premier League with Southampton, so you're going to play. I
Hmm.
thought that was correct and the right way of doing it. Keller, even though he was playing a few games then, but I think right now at the moment, I think even if Kelleher isn't playing every week for us, I think he's probably still the best choice for Ireland.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, I think he showed that at the weekend. It was 0-0 for 70 minutes against them. They were 2-0 up after 20, and then for 70 minutes they couldn't score against us. They did England
Yeah,
stuff. They just turned it
yeah.
to soup, and they had a couple of chances, and they could have been 4-0 up, which would have been a wrong result. That would not have been the proper scoreline in that game at all. And if
Hmm.
it wasn't for him, like, because
Oh,
they did
he
nothing.
made two great
Two
saves
world
back to
class
back
saves.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that very quickly it could have gone from being 2-0 and like, okay, we can get on with that, to looking like a 4-0 drubbing, which it wasn't.
Hmm.
If they had just gone
Which
in
would have
and
made a big difference. Actually, and also he
yeah,
did
the
make the save.
scoreline
He did make the save against Gordon
early.
against Gordon
Yeah,
earlier. I thought the shot was a pretty poor shot by Gordon, but then again, it's just
yeah.
also you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, he cut off the angle well and made him, make a more difficult shot than possibly that he was expecting to have to make. So
Oh yeah, he knew Gordon wasn't a great finisher, so he just let him. He put him into an area to basically to take the shot, and he thought, hey, look, fair enough if you put it in, but I know you more often than not, you're going to mess this up.
you're going to miss this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've seen you on
Um,
Match of the Day, mate.
yeah, yeah. He's like, I've played FIFA before. I know where you go
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this.
you're 68 for finishing, dude. Have a go.
Your
Go on,
rating
have a
is
go.
accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Um, there was also this weekend. This is also a shot of them afterwards. It was kind of cool to see they exchanged jerseys afterwards. The two teammates here, Kelleher and Trent, and they're obviously doing the whole let's talk, but
Yeah.
let's not have anyone know what we're saying conversation. You know,
These
man,
kids,
they're
man.
not doing it because of like any body odor or something like that. You know? So,
Yeah. I mean, it's not as if, I don't know, who would have had the time to zoom in? Somebody probably. But
you would think, yeah. It's one of those it's almost like a. an episode from Casino or something like that. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Turn on the washing machine and turn up the radio.
Exactly. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, James Pierce. Okay, so bonkers is saying from James Pierce, the bid Liverpool rejected for Keller was just 7 million plus Matt Turner. Yeah, that's a joke.
That's a joke.
Yeah,
And that's a U.S. men's national team player there. I would love to see an American make a debut, if not make the roster for Liverpool. But Matt Turner is not the guy. He is not the guy. All due respect to you, Matt, you will not be doing a Brad Friedel for us.
Nope.
It's just not happening. There was also this weekend, I wanted to bring up this too. There was a former coach who got to basically put on the black and yellow once again and do a tribute game. It was really, really interesting to see. I didn't know I don't follow Dortmund. I wish we had JK on today, but to verify or not. But was he doing the fist pumps with Dortmund to the yellow wall? I think they're called, right? Was that like his thing? Jurgen?
I mean, in the video now, or did you? Oh yeah. Okay. He used to do that thing. I think. Yeah,
okay. I didn't know if that was like the thing that he just originated when he. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know when he started doing it, but I think it was. I mean, yeah, like JK to confirm that. Yeah. So what was he doing? Was he playing in a friendly for Dortmund or something at the weekend?
Well, no, Jurgen wasn't playing in the friendly. That would have been interesting. Yeah.
Oh man, he's still a very fit man. He still plays tennis every day. He could do 20 minutes in a charity game. Don't be putting him down like that. Jurgen,
I don't know about that.
I reckon 20 minutes. Have you seen some of these guys? They put in those soccer aid games, man. Some of these guys are like 25 stone and they haven't run a day in their life, and they're out there playing 20 minutes at Wembley. I reckon Jurgen could hold his own at centre half.
Yeah, no. Jurgen Klopp on returning to Borussia Dortmund. It's a lifelong dream come true. Just a few months ago, I was given an emotional farewell in Liverpool. Today, it was very emotional again. It's like a class reunion. It's what I've always dreamed of. Meeting up again, having a good time, and being able to tell all the stories. I don't want to talk about Rooney. Rooney scored on his debut as well. Yeah, or not debut, on his return for the Legends game. But yeah, no, he got to be this, the gaffer, and at the end of the game, he went up and
they win?
They ended up winning. Yeah. Winning.
Who were they playing?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know who they were playing. I can find out. Someone probably in the chat knows who they're playing. I didn't watch the game, but
yeah, it's like
I just saw it was it was a charity match, but I just saw I saw the end. The end was the attention was, despite the fact that I think it was two of the players actually they were using it as a retirement thing too, to play in the game as well. But it was here. Let me see. I guess maybe no one in the chat knows. Okay, let me find out for you.
Then maybe it is a testimonial. I mean,
it is a testimonial game. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So they still do them in Germany. You see, because they used to do those in England all the time. You'd have a testimonial for a player because they weren't retiring as multi-millionaires. They actually kind of needed a bit of a pop, a top up in the pension pot. So a testimonial would be a good way of giving a player one of those things. It was always could be worth £500,000 to him, when that was a huge deal. But when players started getting super wealthy, it became a bit kind of crass. People are like, these guys don't need. So they made a point of saying, oh, we're going to do a testimonial as a mark of respect for the player. But that player would make it known that he was going to donate everything to charity.
Right.
But I think now they've kind of just phased them out the testimonial thing, which I don't like actually, because I think players like Roy Keane, Gerrard, these they should always have a kind of a special send off. That like a Virgil van Dijk, and Mo Salah should get a testimonial game. When he leaves, I think there should be a special game to do that. I always like testimonials because it was only the best players to kind of march you out a little bit. It wasn't an award, it didn't mean, but it meant like that was a kind of I bet that was that we go, who's a Liverpool legend? Like the legends were the ones that got testimonials. Those are the ones that the club made sure, and you'd pack Anfield. 40,000 people.
These are
there.
the two players it was for too.
Okay, Piszczek and Blaskowski. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know it was like two players that were retiring, and then also it was
Polish boys.
Yeah, it was a 5-4 victory, lots of goals in it.
Typical Dortmund and typical Jurgen. Yeah, 5-4. That sounds about right.
Yeah,
that's a very Dortmund. Look, 81,000 fans. Look, and the season is
already. No, it was a packed house, and I'm sure that they showed up to show proper respect to the former players. But it was also an account where I'm sure a lot of them were showing up to get a chance to see, one of their legends.
Oh, the band back together. You look at all that. Like that's getting the band back together if ever there was. And Nuri Sahin, Jurgen Klopp is there. Lucas Barrios, Mats Hummels.
Yeah.
Dortmund conceded first. Probably MKTO. Yeah, they probably did. Yeah, probably went 1-0 down, 5-4 in the last minute. Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, 81,365 fans. That's exceptional.
Yeah.
That's a proper send off.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Certainly proper send off. Also this is also now being confirmed, by the way, in the news that we will have a new kit bearer as well. And that will be as was reported. MKTO, they're joking. I have no idea if.
I know. Yeah, no, he's yeah.
I can find out for you certainly. But yeah. What I was saying again is that speaking of Germany, Adidas will be partnering up with Liverpool for the 25-26 season. It has now been made official that the contract is,
just 25-26.
Now I don't know if it's just. I doubt it's just a year. I don't have the specifics on on how long the deal is for, but I know that it is an official deal now.
Yeah. I'm sure it's like a 4-year deal, probably. Or maybe we're doing one of those clever ones again where we'll renegotiate it every year and we'll do this. Who knows? But no, I'm assuming it's for at least 2 seasons anyway.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if they would how long the deal is for, but I know that the deal is done, as in it is official. They will be our kit maker for the 2025-26 season, that hopefully has a number 11 with a Salah on the back of it, and has a number 4 with Virgil van Dijk's name on the back of it, and of course has a 66 with TAA on it. That'd be great to see.
I don't like that logo. I don't like that new logo. I don't.
I thought you did like it. You don't like it?
No, I like Adidas, but I don't like that logo. I prefer the older Adidas logo where he actually has either Adidas written underneath it, or it's the leaf shape one. But that's.
Oh, you don't like the Adidas logo? Got you. Understood.
No.
I thought you meant the Liverpool logo. I'm sorry.
Oh, that one's cool. Yeah. It's just the newer Adidas one. That LSE logo is simple enough. Yeah, I mean, again, look, that's just me. For like the older ones, but maybe they just don't like writing Adidas on it. But hey, look.
Yeah, I like the 3-leaf one, the one where it looks like.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
I like that one. The old that's old school though. That's definitely old school.
Yeah, I don't think they're bringing that back. I mean, you might on some like throwback
Throwback
retro
type stuff.
one-off type kit,
Yeah.
but not an actual kit. So
Yeah.
like you can't put that on runners or sneakers. You'd call it trainers. They can't really put the three stripe thing is on the sides. But even
Mhm.
then, I prefer it with the jagged edge. Like the anyway. That's just me.
Mhm. There's also one other thing I wanted to bring up too. I saw there were some content creators out there. Like I said earlier, the one unique thing about basing a rivalry game before this break is that you're going to get a lot of content obviously from those games. You're obviously going to get a lot of content in that being from both sides of the fence, being Reds and Red Devils, and there were certainly some people out there that were on the Red Devil side that were very, very, very confident about their chances going into that matchup. There were obviously some people that already put a lot of their stack of chips on Ten Hag being their guy and being worthy to stay on as the actual gaffer for them. So you had your rants and your KJs and your what is his name? Flex. I think his name is, or I think it's Flex or something. He's on DR Sports. He's with is it Flex? Someone in the chat, if you can help me out with that. I think it's Flex. Maybe it's something else. It begins with an F.
Flex on DR Sports.
I think so, right?
Sounds like a top guy. That's good. Sounds like a high end. Sounds like a high end performer.
It is Flex. Yeah. KG was, yeah, it was, yeah. They were pretty like I saw Saeed and he was outside and he was like, and Rance and Bance or whatever his name is. That guy's he's a if you
is
think
that one guy,
you think I'd like to take little shots at our rivals, Beige and Pops. Rance
is
and
Rance,
yeah.
Is Rance and Bance one guy?
I think it's one guy, right? Or
I
is
just
it
assumed Rance and Bance was obviously two different people.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't really watch his show too.
But then who would call themselves Rants? Who the hell would call themselves Rants? That's a really stupid thing to call yourself. Wow, that's really idiot. I always thought Rants and Bants was the name of like a show or a channel or something. I didn't know that they were actually two people. But when you said like the guy, that's insane, man. It's the name of the show. Okay. Oh, so you're just calling them Rants,
right?
Okay, so he probably actually calls himself something.
But he goes by Rants. That's what I've seen him put as like as in when the the names come up underneath. That's what comes up as.
Rants is Expression's brother.
Get out.
Okay. I did not know that. A couple of shows with Expressions back in the day, like way back in the day. I mean, she was on. Anyway. But that was a long time. Fucking out Expressions, man. Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that. Well, it was interesting to see. I know because Flex, for instance, KG had to. I guess you guys call it sausages. You don't really call them hot dogs, but.
Well, we don't call hot dogs sausages. We call hot dogs hot dogs. They're not sausages.
Oh, well then he was dressed up as a hot dog. That's what it looked like to me, but they kept calling him a sausage. So I guess it's a sausage in a roll, sausage in a roll. But
you can there's sausage. You can have sausage rolls. You can have hot dogs.
But sausages really aren't like hot dogs. Are
but what you call hot dogs, we call hot dogs.
Right. Okay.
So what you like, Frank?
But the outfit was like a pink, like the actual dog, and it was pink. It wasn't like a like sausage.
No, it was it was a hot dog. It was a hot dog costume, but he was calling him a sausage. I mean, take it up with HR,
Yeah, I will. I will. I will. I will. But yeah, KG showed up, dressed up as a hot dog or a sausage, whatever you prefer, and it was pretty bad. They were definitely taking their shots at him on, I think it was DR Sports again, or
We
and
see the
then
thing is in England, especially calling someone a sausage is basically you're calling them an idiot. So he
yeah,
was using it as a. So if I was just, I use you're a like stop being a sausage, just mean like stop being an idiot. So
mhm,
he was using that probably to call him an idiot. You know,
yeah,
if you get what I mean.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I saw though on it was a recurring piece.
Oh, that's a bit weird. That's a bit weird. You should have told people that was going to pop up in case there was kids in the room.
Oh yeah, right. I know. There was a recurring case of blaming or scapegoating, however you want to reference it, this particular individual here, Casemiro. I felt that it was interesting to me because I thought in that game, yes, Casemiro had a absolute shocker of a game. He definitely was highlighted as being someone that was poor in that game. But one thing I can say is that so was Zerke, so was Bruno, so was Manu. I mean, it was like a concerted effort, of poor play by the entire team. It wasn't just Casemiro, but every person on there was just throwing Casemiro under the bus. It's a shame. What a shame for such a former great player in the minds of Red Devils, at least. I thought
Well,
Bruno
no,
was a good game too.
I mean he is a former great. He was. He may not have ever been. I think he'd probably be a good candidate for an underrated player, like consider like when he was up to the point where he left Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't really ever kind of put up there, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the guy was clearly one of the best in his position in the world for maybe 7 years. So definitely, it happens. We've seen it happen.
It's a cliff.
Varane.
Sometimes some players hit a cliff. I mean, like, do you think
Well, I
it's
mean,
do
it's
you
Man
think it's
United
done?
as
Do you think
well.
he's done, or is it? I think it's more
Oh
so
yeah.
it's just for what they're asking him to do. I think there's a serviceable player there. It's just that what they're expecting and asking him to do at this stage of his career, he is just not capable of doing that.
Done. I don't. Yeah, probably at the highest level. Yeah, probably. I mean, he's not going to come back and dominate top level football next year after a resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine getting taken off at halftime, getting a hook at halftime, it's not good, and it makes you that guy, right? It makes
Mm-hmm.
you the one that it's obvious to point out, and then yeah, you just show uh, one or two bad mistakes, and it's easy scapegoat laugh, and yeah, that's probably it makes it easier for them to just say, oh, it was all about Casemiro having a bad game. It
Right.
wasn't about how they were all awful and he was just one part, or they were all bad in certain situations. He got
Mm-hmm.
put in bad situations. No, it was
Mm-hmm.
just it was just him. It was just him. It was just Casemiro. Manu is this, Bruno is that. So like it's easy. It's as a fan to get. He gave them an easy scapegoat. He took them off at halftime, and they
Mm-hmm.
got took 3-0. So it probably gives Ten Hag a little bit of a, oh my god, this guy is so bad, I have to get him off. Don't look at me. It's nothing to do with me. It's this Casemiro guy.
But
So
so
yeah,
that's why. So you think that he kind of took him off for proper reasons, but also took him off to kind of say, hey, you know what? That's on.
afterwards, it
Okay.
becomes you can kind of point at him a little bit then.
Do you think it's
Uh,
going to be easy sledding for Ugarte, who because that was I saw Goldbridge out there saying how,
oh, he's gonna solve everything.
you know,
He's gonna fix everything.
yeah, how
He's the magic key.
how this, the new administration plus Ten Hag should have basically looked at the schedule, saw that we were playing them in the third game, and would have gotten the Ugarte deal done earlier, knowing that this player isn't that level. But I'm still saying to myself, you're paying this player 350,000 pounds or something like that, over 300,000 pounds a week, and you expect him to be a backup? Is that where United is?
Look, it's always the guy that's not there. It's always the guy. It's like fans will always use, if we're losing 2-0 and there's a guy on the bench, there'll always be people that will say, "Oh, if he was on now, this wouldn't. If he had started, this wouldn't be happening. If this guy was on the pitch." They can't analyze what's on the pitch. They can't analyze what's in front of them. And I'm not saying I can, like an expert either, but it'll always be, "Oh, well, if that guy was here, this wouldn't be happening." I said, "Well, no, there are 11 guys out there." So, like I say, sometimes, like I always say, for a lot of fans, the best player is always a guy on the bench when they're losing. Because you'll get that guy who wants to sound clever. You just go, if we'd started Robertson, this wouldn't be happening. If we'd started Diaz, this wouldn't be happening. It's like you have no idea whether it would be happening or not. So, like the whole idea that, somebody should send Ugarte that clip from Casemiro when they're, like I brought up the other night, when they had him signed on a deal in exactly the same circumstances. Like they have Ugarte signed basically, but not really done in time enough to come and play. Casemiro was basically sitting at home waiting for the final bit of his deal to get signed off. And I think they were 2-0 down. They were getting beat 2-0 by Brentford or 3-0 by Brentford or something. And he sent a now infamous text to his agent saying, "Tell them I'll fix this."
Yeah, that's what
so Ugarte, they're saying Ugarte is going to do exactly the same.
Yeah, that's what Nalante said right here. He said he actually took United's offer because he thought he could save them.
Yeah. Navante knows what I'm talking about. Like that's what you're asking. That's what Mark Goldbridge is saying. Ugarte is now going to what? Like Manu Ugarte, who for some reason, I don't know, got booted out of PSG after a year, after they went all out to sign him. And he's not like some old guy that they brought in and now it's a new regime and they're bringing in younger players.
I'm sorry, I saw this on.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
I'd have trouble. I'd have trouble.
That's hilarious.
This Ugarte guy, like, sorry, but what's he like? What have they just signed? Like a World Cup winning, like what, Ballon d'Or? I mean, what, he's going to come in and he should be looking at Casemiro going, Jesus, are they going to expect me to come in and fucking fix this?
Yeah, they absolutely will. They absolutely will. I mean, look,
because the fans are already going, just you wait until we have Euro. And guys, please, if there's any Man United fans out there that even, like, if this nonsense that they can't stop, that they beat Real Madrid to the signing of Lenny Yoro, they need to stop that. That is just not what happened.
It's not.
They were not prepared to go anywhere near them. They just said, look, we'll take you next year. If you want to ruin your career and go to Man United, fine, get your 50 million for your club. But you want to join a proper club, we'll be here in a year when we need you, on our terms, not yours. Man United, we beat the biggest club in the world to the next.
Well, that's that whole winning the transfer window, as if it's a title, and it's one of those. Yeah, those things are just, they're weird when you hear those kind of shouts like that, because it's all banter. And I remember because Cass was doing it from Never a Foul, and like so was KG was doing it. He was on Kopish. He had songs prepared, singing songs about it. Wow. This picture could easily have had Mainu on it too, by the way. I personally thought Mainu had a very shockingly poor game in that too. Some might say it was all because of this guy here, or maybe the lack of experience from his replacement in later on in the game. But it could be easily that. And to think that Ugarte, who, was at Sporting, made a very big splash in Sporting by becoming like a lot of people's choice. I know there's some of us that in our fan base that was really pushing to get Ugarte as part of our club. You went on to go to PSG for
Those
an
people
enormous
seen him
amount.
play 5 times.
Right, exactly.
Those people that watched Sporting Lisbon and Uruguay every opportunity that they got, they watched them. They'd watched 1,000 minutes of Ugarte, and yeah, he was the only one for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But look what happened to him at PSG. Like you just
That's
say, he
what I was
goes
about to
every
get
60
into. I
minutes.
mean,
Yeah.
like
So
at
go ahead, tell me.
PSG, they were very underwhelmed by his performances, by what he was doing, and that's in Ligue 1, like as in French. That's in the French league. Shout out to Sheba out there. No disrespect, Sheba, but that's someone DJ that I had this weekend. He's from Paris, actually, PSG fan too. But I don't think that PSG was happy with his performance, and that's again in a league that we just spoke on, where PSG can wake up and find themselves in first place for the most part. Now he's going to a club like United, where he's going to be called on to be that guy. It's a lot. It's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. But,
Yeah, I was just going to say the other thing. Red for Life. Hello, Honcho. Hello,
pick up the
Yarrow.
Honcho. Pick up for Red for Life too, for sure.
I saw someone say it about him today, and this really kind of grinds my gears, as people used to say. Lenny Yarrow's potential is scary. He could be even better than Rafael Varane. Right, his potential is scary. He could be even better than Rafael Varane. Potential could be. Those are the operative words and phrases in that. Potential and could be. Like but this guy is just like, oh, this is a done deal. Like he could be. His potential is scary. What I don't even know what that means. He's a fucking centre half. He's not the next Marco van Basten. I'm not going to be ever scared. It's okay. He's just going to be a really good centre half. But maybe he might be one of the best in the world. But you're just talking about potential. 18-year-old kid potential, and it's just like, oh, this is a done deal. You get these guys. Oh, we've locked down the centre half position for the next 7 years. Man, there might not be there might not be a planet in 7 years. You don't even like to know where a footballer is going to be in 7 years, especially when he's 18 now. He could be on his third club in 7 years.
I have a question then too. Speaking of potential, I spoke on Manu. Nalante had to take. I wasn't expecting this. I don't really necessarily see Manu as a 10, but Nalante was giving a shout for him to be. Said if United had structure and sense, they would play Manu in as a 10. He followed it up as saying he's more technical and he'd be better further forward with link-up play as a DM. He hasn't got the power and awareness to do the job. I can understand the second portion of that. I just don't know if he's. Yeah, go ahead. I just don't see.
No, I just don't. Where would they play Bruno if they were using a 10?
Yeah.
They'd use. If they do use that kind of thing. I know what you mean. I definitely like if Mainu was playing for us, I wouldn't want him to be
the DM.
Yeah, that kind of last line of defense type player. I think he is. Again, it's this Man U thing about obsession. It kind of takes, as we all know, if you're a £60 million signing, or if you're a kid from the academy, you get treated differently by the fans. A kid from the academy will get a lot more credit, will get a lot more leeway, get a lot more of the, hey, now come on, he's just a kid from the academy. Give him time. Yeah, this guy, he cost £60 million. What the fuck's he doing? What the hell's he up to? It's just instant. But when you're a kid from the academy, you get a lot more goodwill. You get a lot more, like, especially fans want nothing more than to see one of their own come through, even if they were, bought from Fulham a year ago, but whatever. You're not saying Mainu was, but, that's what they want to see more than anything else. So those guys get a lot more leeway and they get a lot more time from fans. Like I was saying with the Ten Hag thing earlier on, Man United fans, they kind of expect this thing, and it is a proud record they have. They've had a homegrown academy product in every squad since the year 100 BC. Brilliant. That's part of their culture. That is an admirable part of their culture, especially with smaller benches. They've always had young players. So, but that's a thing that kind of you can get away with it by, he's giving the kids a go, give them more time in terms of a manager, right? He's trying the kids. So this works in Ten Hag's favor as well, is by having kids like him to maybe deflect a little bit from his failings. His failings as a coach. It's like, oh, it was Casemiro. Oh, he's playing the kids.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, he brought in that game. He ended up bringing in a kid as well when he brought
the extra from Coronation Street.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
nobody
knows who he is. Nobody's ever seen him since. Nobody's even sure he actually exists.
I mean, the guy's a 20-year-old player. I mean,
could have been any age. Nobody knows.
Oh yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I had this last little bit here, and then we'll open it up. If you guys have questions, we're up in this is Monday Nightclub, so if you guys want to pop a bottle for yourselves or something like that, with something you want to talk about, just be sure to add it in the chat, and we'll bring it up. There was this right here by 90 Minutes. I like this resource. They gave their picks for every club's best player in the month of August. Now, this is just in the month of August. This doesn't obviously include the games in September. And they ended up putting Saka. I wanted to see if you disagree with any of these names on this list. They had Saka for Arsenal. I'm just going to go through a few of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. Onana for Villa. They had João Pedro for Brighton. They had Madueke for Chelsea, for instance. Eze for Crystal Palace. Most notably for Everton, they had.
Yeah. What the fuck's going on there?
That is horrible, man. When they're just yeah, we're gonna skip. We're gonna pass. Shout out to the to Everton. They had Robinson.
Shout out to the Liverpool journalists at 90 Minutes to put that list together as well.
Yeah, exactly. They had Robinson in for Fulham, someone that you nominated and is now our current member of the high table here for team of the season. Current member of the team of the season.
Yeah. Survivor Series.
Exactly.
Yeah, tune in next week.
Liam Delap, for Ipswich Town. Most notably, I understand the Holland shout for City. Man's coming on, back. He had like double.
He scored 452 goals in 3
years.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, like 2 hat tricks in a row or something. Yeah.
The old back-to-back hat trick will kind of do that to you. Mind you, I think one of those was in a September game, wasn't it? So this is just August as well.
Yeah. This is just.
He only had the one. He only had the one hat trick in August. So
only one hat trick. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still making things out.
Yeah. First game of the season, he scored a hat trick, right? Mm-hmm. Then he scored once, he scored back-to-back hat tricks. Didn't he?
He scored back-to-back hat tricks. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So he scored. Yeah. So that's it. He has. Yeah, that's fair enough. I know who you think.
Name though in there, I was surprised to see. I was surprised to see that they gave Virgil van Dijk. Not all credit and all love to our captain, of course, but I'm surprised to see that they put Virgil van Dijk as our best player in August. Would you have had him as our best player in August? I mean, there's a shout for Mo Salah. There's a shout for there could be a
mean,
shout
it's
for
90
Lucho.
minutes. It's 90 minutes, so I'm surprised they didn't have Salah. Yeah, I would have expected 90 minutes to have Salah because I know their style. But no, they're trying to be thoughtful, I suppose, about it. And definitely no, I mean, you're talking about the difference between someone finishing on a 9.8 or a 9.9, but the 9.9 has still got to win it. So I would have had maybe like a Gravenberch, a Lucho, and a Mo, just in it, just a tiny bit ahead of them, and then you can pick whichever one you want from them.
Right.
But
I would have put Virgil on the same tier as like having a shout for best player as to on the same level as maybe a Allison or something like that. Allison's made some exceptional saves, hasn't had incredible amount of work, like hasn't been like, like the entire game he was getting peppered or something like that with shots or something, but he's certainly,
this was August as well. Again, this was August, so it was only Ipswich and Brentford.
Yeah, exactly.
So gotta forget the United game, I suppose. Still though, I think still just about for me, Salah. Just about.
Yeah.
Amad Diallo.
Yeah.
What? No,
Diallo has been. I mean, yeah. No, he was. I've seen Red Devil content creators really upset about that. Diallo's not getting more praise and attention.
What does he do? Oh,
I don't know. Sell sausages? I have no idea.
Yeah. Sorry. Where does he play? He's not that new left back that they're all crowing about that didn't get to play.
Yeah,
that's not Diallo.
He didn't get to play.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Diallo was like a winger or something. No.
Oh no, he's a winger. He's a winger. I'm thinking of Dalot. Dalot.
Oh no, there's another young kid. He's only about 17 that came into the first team this year. He's a left back, young English. It's something like he's a different guy.
Yeah,
that they were all saying he's going to be the best thing this season. This new kid, wait till he gets in the team. Whatever.
Right.
Who else have we got? Chris Wood. I mean, guy gets derided. The lad gets a lot of stick because he's old school as he's as old school as it gets. He's about 6'6".
He scored in the Brighton game for them too, by the way. That's why
he scored. He scores when you look at his.
No, I meant the Ahmad guy.
Oh, Amad Diallo. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Where was he last season, Michael? Because I know the name. Where was he last season? Chris Wood is absolutely massive.
He was at Sunderland, but he was at Sunderland on loan, and then before that he was at Rangers on loan, and before that he was at Atalanta. But that's where they got him from initially. Manchester United got him from Atalanta when he was like, playing for their U20 team or something like that.
If you can go to Sunderland and do well, then you've got something about you. Because they've been in bad.
I know you said that's like you were saying.
Yeah, they've been in bad times recently, so it's hard to go there.
Football player graveyard, somewhat.
Right. Yeah.
He's from from the Ivory Coast as well. That's his national team, at least.
Yeah.
But
fair play.
Plays the right wing. His strengths are passing, long balls, and high pressing. And he scored in that game for them he scored in the game against Brighton, which was a 2-1 loss. So, but Michael Corleone says Diallo is technically gifted, but as we all know, wide men will be judged on output now.
That's the job. Create and score. That's your job.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
I mean, like they don't. I'll be honest. United
Sugawara.
don't have much to rave about. They're
Garnacho is decent. Garnacho, he's another one, isn't he? Young winger type.
I do not like Garnacho. Oh, whatever.
I mean, decent. I mean, I know. I'm not
He's
saying
decent. He's decent.
that's what I'm saying. Decent.
He's
That's what I'm
not at the
saying.
level that Red Devils and even himself put him at. Yeah. Nolante, I know that is a little disrespectful that they did Everton dirty there. They definitely did Everton dirty. But then again, I think what is it? I want to say Everton had what 2 back-to-back losses in the start of the season with four goals scored on them or something. They were not looking good in the beginning of the season.
No, I wouldn't have. I mean, Amadou Onana is interesting, and Buemo interesting. But Pedro, Nani Madueke, Eze, Liam Delap, Buenanotte, Diallo, Isaac, Chris Wood, Sugawara. I mean, it's not exactly a list of the world's greatest players, is it?
It's not. It's not.
You've got a couple of big names there, and I'm not saying
not.
big names mean everything, but I mean, Saka, Van Dijk, and Haaland, the rest of them. Then, it's not similar. No, it's not that similar to our list when you look at it. We'd only have a few of the same, but yeah, some of them are fairly obvious. Sean Rickner, Bellegarde, I have no idea.
Yeah, the opening games for Everton were 3-0 and 4-0. That's what they lost. And they lost to Brighton 3-0. Ashley Young ended up having a red card in that game. And then they also lost to Spurs 4-0. And
Ashley Young should be on gardening
leave. What was that?
Ashley Young is the one who should be on gardening leave.
Yeah. I thought that Lucho put him on gardening leave that year when he got the red card against him. Be honest with you,
the guy's nearly 40 now. I think he might even be 40. I mean, that's just fair play to you, but go and play somewhere easier. Go and don't be getting rinsed by these 20-year-old wingers every week, or just go to Saudi. Well, he's probably a bit old for Saudi, but I don't know, man. He's putting himself through the ringer every single week here. He's kind of. People are going to remember him for different things. I mean, I remember that guy was around. Honestly, the guy was around 20 years ago.
Yeah. There's this shout for Son. That shout is most likely because of he had a brace against Everton. So I know that they didn't play particularly well in their first match in their first game.
I think they lost 1-0. I think
they ended up losing their first game 1-0. But they had.
But that was against someone good though. They played someone.
Yeah.
Let
me double check.
Villa, was it Villa? Maybe it might have been Villa.
It was against. No, it was a draw actually. They drew. They drew against Leicester.
Oh, Leicester. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Your boy Pedro Porro scored in the 29th minute, and then Vardy came back and said that's the one where he was I think he was like holding up the 0 or 1 or something. He was holding up something
1-0.
to the
for titles.
For titles.
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah. And then he went out. Then he went to the sideline after scoring the goal, smoked a cigarette, and drank a Red Bull, allegedly. But yeah, maybe, Michael. But he's saying keep a watch out for João Pedro. He thinks he'll be an 80 million pound player next summer. Everton it's going to be interesting what they do with João Pedro, considering, a player that played this weekend who I'm expecting to see. I mean, that's the player I thought we were going to see some real movement from. But the Irish national that got minutes in the second half. Surprised he didn't get the start too, by the way.
Who, Evan Ferguson? Yeah, injured. So I think he got about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
He came on 82, 81, 82 minutes. He probably got 10 minutes to run around.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, kind of a bit of a token substitution, not even
But
worth
does he
bringing up.
start in front of? Does he start in front of João Pedro?
Oh, see, this is the thing with Brighton, like, because they have all these mad, like real techie managers. Like, they've got this kid now, basically, like 31. He
That's
might even
doing. Yeah, he's got a
30.
very unique. I mean, I think
Yeah,
he'll
yeah.
start. I
So,
mean, he should start in front of. I shouldn't say shouldn't because Pedro is playing the 10. I think.
but that's the
So
thing. I literally start ahead of him on the pitch.
right,
You like, I'd be.
right,
I mean, if I was a Brighton fan, I'd be like playing both.
yeah.
Because I
Well,
don't
they've
know
got
what they're
Danny
doing
Welbeck.
this year.
They got Danny Welbeck starting.
Yeah, he can replace it. Like I
Yeah.
don't know what system they're using, but like João Pedro was like that was the thing with De Zerbi. Uh, he'd play him kind of everywhere, and then he
Mhm.
wouldn't start him, and then he'd play him, and like he was really getting himself together under De Zerbi because he came in. He's their record signing, I think, maybe until this year. Um, they bought him from Watford. Like he isn't one of those like little gems that they unearthed. Like they paid about 40 million quid for him,
Mhm.
and then he came in. He didn't do. He was kind of in and out a little bit, but when he was in, I mean, because I remember I had him in my fantasy football team for ages, but he'd keep getting dropped,
Mhm.
and then he'd be on the bench. That was the only problem with him. But then he'd come in, and he'd be like, oh bloody hell! I sold him last week. He comes in this week, and you get a goal and an assist.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it really seemed to be a kind of a system thing.
Mhm.
So I love to like he's Brazilian number 10 goal scorer. Like he's class. Like he's obviously deadly, but I really don't know what way they're playing. I'm assuming it's some kind of very kind of very highly tactical kind of Brighton and esque Man City type football. But
Mhm.
Evan Ferguson, yeah, he's kind of like a Bacetic. Came in kind of hot, then kind of
Mhm.
got a year out. Now
Mhm.
has to kind of reset and start again and come in. But yeah, it's not that long ago where it was the stupid talk.
Is the
Oh, 100,
availability of it?
minutes,
Is the availability
100
not
minutes
like
of Ferguson.
somewhat of a concern though too? I mean,
I think it was just like one injury. I mean, he's a young kid. He's a big. If you've ever seen him, like he's absolutely massive. So he's a young
mhm.
kid. He's growing. So, I mean, if he's still, I don't really know the specifics of the injury,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I think
Six
he's what
feet
20
tall.
now.
6 feet tall.
He's more than that. He's more than 6 feet.
No, I
He's
mean
a
that's
big
what it
guy.
says. It says 6 feet on his player card.
Yeah, I'd say they're doing him a disservice there. He looks a lot bigger. He's one of those
Yeah.
guys. He's probably 6 foot, but he looks a lot bigger.
Mhm.
So yeah, young kid. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried yet. If you told me he's had the same injury 3 times, I'd be like, okay,
Right.
But it's like, yeah, young kid growing up, but definitely he has all the minerals,
Huh.
you know, all the tools to do it. So yeah, him plus Joe Pedro playing well. If he can get Welbeck in the team, well, Joe Pedro, I think he's right.
Oh wait, I'll bring up that
He
one
will
first. Then.
probably move. He will probably move. He will probably go within 2 years. That's what they do. But
20 goals and 40 games last year, all comps obviously. It's a good total.
yeah, well, they were in Europe, you see, so and he played in Europe.
Yeah.
The Zerbi was just one of those managers. You just wouldn't know who he was going to, what he was going to do, what he was going to play. But I thought he was good at Watford before they even got him. But he was one of those guys at Watford. It was just like they were such a crappy team. You wouldn't really know if these guys are any good or if they could just pull a worldie out every now and again. Were they actually any good? Could they make the step up? Plus, as well, it's a step up from Brighton to Man United. You could see him going to Manchester United and not doing that well at all, or
Mhm.
Chelsea and getting swallowed up, or Manchester City and getting sat on the bench. So, would you take him? That's the kind of thing. Would he get into your team? Same with Evan Ferguson. Would you take him? Would you? This guy had shown he can. But like I said, all the silly talk about a year and a half ago.
I
Oh, he's going
think
to go for 100
yeah.
million.
I
No,
think
no, calm that down.
he'd be a
Calm
great
that
player
down.
to have, but I wouldn't would I
Yeah.
start him over what the choices that we have now? No. I wouldn't I wouldn't start him over Diego and I wouldn't even start him over Nunez, but I would certainly
Do you
think
know
that.
what? Actually, he'd be a lovely little shout for a Jota replacement. If Jota, I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
putting up the idea,
yeah,
but yeah, I really, yeah,
I get what
that's
you're
the
saying.
type of player he is. That little kind of 9.5. He's not a number 9. He's not number 10. He's that'd be a really nice shout actually. If for whatever reason you
Mhm.
needed to play that position, but yeah, we don't. Definitely, we don't.
Yeah,
And Jota's
especially
shown
now that
he
we
can
just
do
yeah,
it
and
at
especially
Liverpool.
now that we've got 6 forwards on our team now. You know, not
And
saying that all of them
again,
play striker, but still all the same.
and like
There's
the chap is alluding to there, they're going to want like if they do when they do sell him, it'll be because he's good, and be like, yeah, 80 million, please. Yeah, you're okay.
Mhm,
I don't think we're going to need that one.
mhm. Yeah, there's this list was definitely a unique list. You know, Bellegarde for the Wolves and Bowen for West Ham. West Ham going through it a little bit. Newcastle going through it with their start as well.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a very interesting year, people. It's definitely gonna be an interesting year for a lot of teams that are all vying to get back into, you know, to get back into the folds of either Europe or Champions League in itself, or if not, Conference League, and especially now that they've created this new system, and the Europa and Conference League are all doing the same system as the Champions League too, with this
can
new.
you pop that list back up quickly for a second?
Sure, sure. Bring it up big. Hold on 1 second.
And I'll just ask you,
Mhm.
and this gonna be rapid fire, okay?
Yeah.
This gonna be rapid fire, and it's for the chat as well. I'll just pick a few, and I'm gonna name the club, and you tell me who you think their player of the season will end up being. Okay, so
Okay.
just rapid fire. Okay, so right, we'll go. We'll start. Okay, Arsenal.
I think the player of the season will be. I'm going to go with Odegaard. I would have gone with Declan Rice, but I think Odegaard would make a bigger difference.
Okay, okay. Saka and Saliba.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat.
Nice one, chap. Big up, chap. Big up, chap. Playing along. Fair play to you. Fair play to you. Well done. I was worried there. Okay, so okay, another one for Rice. We can leave this run for another couple of seconds. So
Mhm.
that's two for. Well, I mean, well, that's one for everybody. You've got Odegaard, one for Saka, one for Sleeve, and one for Rice. We'll wait for a tiebreaker. We'll wait for a tiebreaker. So
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
else out there? Havertz. Oh, come on, thanks, Michael. So that's five.
Why
That's,
not?
that's five. That's
Why
five
not?
different players. That's five different
Why
players.
not?
Okay, okay.
I think they're a band of really good players, but no candidates for player of the season type candidates. But I think they have some really very good talent.
Okay, well, we'll call that one a draw. Okay, so Chelsea. Who is going to be
Oh,
Chelsea's player of the season?
Palmer.
Bernie's finished it there. That's two for Odegaard and one for
Big
everybody
up
else.
Bernie.
So
Big up Bernie.
there you go. So Chelsea lads and ladies, kings and queens. So that's three for Palmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is three for Palmer.
Oh, by the way, that was 3 for
That's
Odegaard
three
too.
for Odegaard. Oh, he's talking about Odegaard. I sorry,
Yeah.
Pop's talking about Odegaard. And yeah, Pops and Cedric with the green things. Palmer. Yeah, I think Palmer's run away. Palmer's run away with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lavia. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
five.
He's had a resurgence. He's certainly had a resurgence. Definitely.
Yeah, we're going to have to give that one to Palmer, I think. Okay, so who do we think is going to be the Newcastle United player of the season?
Oof. I know if Barnes is here, he'd say Joe Linton, but
Any Gordon
Pops could
fans?
back me up on that one, right? It's Chris. If Chris was here, he'd back me up on that one too.
No Anthony Gordon fans out there?
No. Nah.
Okay, so we got Isaac, we got Barnes.
Um,
Another Isaac.
I'll take for Newcastle.
Osaka. Isaac. Okay.
Yeah. Because I just don't think that it's not going to come down to, you know, who I think has to and will make a dramatic difference is and needs to make a difference considering considering what happened to him last year, and that's Tonali.
Oh, okay. So you're
I think
betting
he
on
has to. Yeah, I think he has to play out of his skin a little bit this year to kind of like, you know, make up for last year. So
it's a gamble.
it is a gamble.
Yeah,
It is a gamble. But
it's a punt.
yeah, it is.
He
But
could probably give you good odds.
yeah,
I'll drop that one.
yeah,
I
sure.
think
Yeah,
Isaac is
maybe
one.
sure. If he gets, yeah, he might be a good
If
shot.
sure gets the vote, I'm sure he'd give himself. Tonali would be good if he stays fit.
Yeah,
Botman, Isaac. I'm going to give that one to Isaac.
but Isak
So
probably win it. Yeah, I'm sure he'll probably be the winner of the list.
so who is going to be the Tottenham player of the season?
I think that's got to be Son.
Any other shouts? Any other offers?
I know who might get a shout, but
He's walking away with it. He's running
he's
away
not.
with it now. Yeah. Okay. I
I
will
would
go
have thought
one
I would
more
have
last
seen
one.
like Romero in there or something like that.
Yeah. I'll go one more last one then. Okay. One of the crappier teams. Who is going to be the West Ham player of the season? Because they bought loads of players and they've got good
They
ones.
did.
So who's going to be? So don't forget some of the players that West Ham have bought. You know, they brought in Fulkrug. They brought in that other guy that's really good at football. So they paid a lot of money for him. I can't remember his
Mm-hmm.
name.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they still got
Uh,
Kudus. They still have
Paqueta.
Paqueta. Yep. They have Edson Alvarez.
Yeah.
Um,
They brought in someone else though that they spent money on.
Wan Bissaka. They brought him in.
No, and they brought in some other random defender as well. But they brought in, yeah. So Kudus. No, nobody thinks. I mean, Bowen is a safe shout. Oh, someone's gone. Yeah, Bonker's gone Kudus.
Can I go Danny Ings?
Good old Danny Ings. Danny
Yeah.
Ings brings the things. I think Kudus is the kind of guy that Guido Rodriguez is. That who I'm trying to think of? Maybe.
Right. Right.
Kudus is the kind of guy that I think is perpetually playing for a move. I think he was almost playing for a move in January when they signed him. He I think if it will be almost he's determined to get to a different place. So he's just like I'd expect him. I wouldn't be surprised. Like Bowen is a safe call because Bowen is a really really good player.
He's an
He's
excellent
really
player.
he's
Yeah.
really predictable. His output is really predictable. You can almost guarantee he's going to get you 10 and 10. You know, 10
Mm-hmm.
goals, 10 assists, somewhere within that. You almost guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
And that he scores against all teams. He can score against Arsenal. He can score against us. He can score against big teams. So I think Kudos though is going to go out there and just try and put up fucking numbers and just
I
go,
get that.
hey, Real Madrid,
I would
come
have
on.
said their player of the year would have been probably Paqueta though. I think he's one of the most important players on their team.
If they can, he'd be gone if he didn't have this thing. Like Man City were win a week of signing him for 90 million quid.
Yeah.
Very, you
Oh,
know,
there's some Lucas shouts in the chat too now.
yeah. I just think Kudus will go nuts numbers wise, whether he wins their player of the season or not,
Mm-hmm.
whether he'll be their best player. But I'm just that would be my shout for him anyway. But I think, yeah, two of them if they get their way, Kudus and Paqueta, they could sell the two of them and build a brand new stadium with the money they get. They could, if they get like if Paqueta gets the okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a good season. Kudus has a good season. You're talking £100 million for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll give
that's
you.
that.
Can I? All right. So if you got to ask, so let me ask you. Let me ask you. Your player of the season for Everton. Who's
I
going to
see.
be?
I'm going to
They're
put
going to
what
need
they.
one. They're going to need
I,
one to get them out of the dumps that they're in. Who's going to be Everton's player of the season?
the guy there, NA N/A. He's great. He's really
he's
good. No,
he's
he's good.
he
He
might
can
run
get up
away
and
with
down
it.
the flank. He can get up and down the flank. He works hard, and he's got a decent cross on him. So yeah, I think N/A could be great player. I mean, these kids these days with their names, what
Yeah, their
you know?
nicknames are wild these days.
Yeah. Okay. No. The memory of Anana. I mean, yeah, 50 million quid. But look, they got him down for Villa player of the season so far. Scored on his debut, I think, or scored in his second game. I would say genuinely think that, yeah, probably the
I
kid.
think Bernie's shout is closer.
I think probably the kid, Brantwaite, probably
You think Brantwaite? Really?
maybe. I mean, it's well, I was going to say Sean Dyche team. They're good defensively, but they kind of made me sound stupid there in the last two games.
Yeah, they've lost.
So
Actually, they lost 3-2 in their last. It was
who else
3-2 in
did
the
they have?
last game they had, and then they lost. What did I say?
Who
4-0
else?
and 4-0 to Spurs and 3-0 to whoever. I don't remember who they played the first game, but they lost 3-0 the first game.
Who else? Who else is there? Who could turn it on for them? Who could be a
Maybe this is
did, did they
the
buy someone I
year
don't know
of
about?
PCL. Maybe this is
Yeah,
the
give it to
year.
him. Yeah, we give it to him. Yeah, we give it to
Maybe
PCL.
Calvert Lewin stays
Yeah.
healthy and pulls Everton out of the fire.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Um, how about who's a good team that I would like to see your answer for, and that is Crystal Palace. Who's going to be? We've been in links with. There's been links to us with Wharton resurging again. Some heavy links too. I don't think that we will meet the price evaluation of Crystal Palace, but there have been links to it. Who's going to be Crystal Palace?
It's got to be the obvious one. It has to be Eze. I think even now they have a tradition of talismanic players. They have a tradition of attacking players who kind of step up and take the mantle as the main creator, like with Wilfred Zaha and even Eze already for a while. And now that Elise has gone, I think he'll probably become even more talismanic again, taking corners, taking penalties, scoring goals. He started off the season scoring probably one of the goals of the month. Just a beautiful finish. Just shows you what he can do. I didn't like to see him come on against Ireland, so I don't really see anyone else on that team. I mean, they've been gutted a little bit. They've lost Anderson, they've lost Elise, and they've probably gone and signed a couple of guys who might take a while to settle in, or surely will take a while to settle in. So for me, yeah, it is boring, but they did so well to hang on to Eze. They really did. Just to keep the kid happy. I know he's obviously a good lad, and he's happy to be where he is because he would have had. I mean, if Bayern Munich were prepared to pay that for Elise, you can imagine what some other clubs would have been prepared to pay for him.
Mm, mm.
So I think he's only a year
because
away.
Because of his English status.
No, just purely on his ability. Eze
Okay.
to me is.
I meant like they would pay more
Yeah.
than Elise because of.
Oh,
Eze.
I mean, but at Bayern, I mean, if Bayern prepared to pay what they pay for Elise, they
I
probably would have
understand.
been prepared to just as much, if not more, for an Eze.
Mhm.
I mean, Red Armchair is killing it tonight. I don't know. Can we get him standing in front of one of those red brick walls or something? We need to get one of those for his avatar.
That one's good. Yeah, we bring that one up. That one's funny. No drum. I don't have a what do you call it, like a drum shot or rim shot for you or something, or pause on that. But yeah. How about all right? Well, then I have just two final teams I want to ask about.
Ismail
Um,
Assar, is he at Everton? Is he at Everton, Bunker? Is Ismail Assar at Everton? I bet he is. I think he is actually. Do you remember when we were in for him? Do you remember when there was a lot of talk about us getting
yeah,
Ismail
oh, I
Assar from
remember.
Watford?
Yeah, that
30
was
million
during the
quid.
Klopp
It
era.
was like,
Yep.
yeah, oh, he's the best thing ever. This guy's unreal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying everyone was saying that, but people were enthused about him, and he did look good. He did look good, but it just shows you he can end up in some strange places because he wasn't being linked just to us. It was like, oh, he's going to go to a big club.
Hmm. I don't know if he's playing for. I'm looking to see if he's on here. I don't think he's. I don't think he's playing for Everton. Let me double check for you.
I mean,
The
kind
team I
of
was going
sounds.
to ask you while I do this check.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
team
yeah,
I was
please.
going to ask was. Now I got to remember the team I was going to ask you about. Let me take a look at this list. It was Brentford was the name of the team I was going to ask you for. I was going to ask you for Brentford's team. I think Brentford is going to be a very somewhat of a surprise team this year. Not necessarily saying they're going to make a push for top four or something like that, but they're going to definitely be mid-table, if not top of like on that breaking out of the mid-table into
Kind of
the
bounce
into
back to where
top
they
four.
were before last season because they dropped like a stone last season from
They
like
did.
European
Oh, Star
positions.
plays for Crystal Palace too, by the way.
Oh, that's who he's talking about. Oh, now I get what he's saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, easy enough. But you didn't ask me who. Nobody has asked who at Liverpool.
Oh no, I'm not going to ask that one just yet. I will. I can
No,
leave
because
it. I
I
might
go.
leave
I
it. I
no.
had
We
another
should ask.
team from last one.
We'll ask the chat. We'll ask the chat at least who they think is going to be Liverpool. I never asked the chat. Um, Brentford, don't know enough about them to say. I'll just say Wissa to
Mm,
not say Waymo.
okay.
I
Okay.
like how they're not playing Tony. Did they sell Tony to a Saudi club?
No, not yet.
Yeah, they might want to get that fixed because he's done the whole like I'm not going to play you thing.
Yeah, and I don't think they
So
really care at this moment in time. And if anything, yeah, they probably should look to get top dollar for him because they're apparently, the teams like Arsenal and teams like Chelsea that were even remotely considering going in for him have cooled the flames on that one.
mhm. He's just getting that little bit too old now.
Yeah.
He's come up a long time. Like he's a late bloomer. He was and like I keep saying. Well, I always say to people like at the start, like people that played it back in the day, it was like you were old school if you remember Ivan Tony being in the Newcastle squad in fantasy football because that's
Uh-huh.
the same Tony, and that was like 10 fucking years ago, man. Like he's been around a long time, and it's like
Well, I also asked that
now he's
question
finally
because
getting it.
your boy Brian is
Who?
Brian Mawayo.
Why is he my boy? Brian
Uh,
Buemo. Buemo.
Wayne
Gotta
Waymo.
get
Yeah,
this. Gotta nail
I
it.
got to get that
Buemo.
name eventually. He's actually been targeted by Arsenal apparently now.
I
Arsenal's.
didn't like the links when we were being linked with it. I didn't
I
like
didn't
it
like
at
the
all.
links at all. I wasn't on
Did
board
not
for that at
like it at
all.
all.
No.
No way. No, thank you. I mean, good. Oh, he did go to Saudi. Pops was saying he did. I was thinking he went there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's good for Brentford. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Okay.
Oh yes, he
Okay.
did. You're right. He's at Ali.
Oh, okay. Mental Ali. Right. Fair enough. Good for him. He's
And
good for Brentford. I mean, you don't need that. I mean,
well, yeah, you don't. But also, they didn't get crazy money for him. By the way, they got like something
no,
in
but those days are gone, man. That like on the
40. They're
Tony thing.
somewhere in the 40 million range or something like that.
Yeah. Once he got done for gambling, the 70 million for Tony, that was gone. That was out. I mean, it's a long time in football to be out, even at 6 months. And he came back, he wasn't very good,
Mhm.
and your man didn't really play him. He hasn't played him now, so yeah, it just shows you can go from hero to zero, or the hottest thing on the market to, well, I mean, a gambling ban.
Yeah.
That's his fault. And Brentford, they'll still make out like bandits on that price because they probably they sold Ollie Watkins to Villa
Hmm.
and replaced him with Ivan Toney. They got a big chunk for Villa or for Watkins and probably only paid about, I don't know, maybe 18, 20 million, something like that for Tony, whatever they paid for him. And they've doubled their money probably.
But they
They're
could have.
fine.
But I just think still. I mean, the
Oh, a year and a half
one of the
ago, a
biggest things.
year ago.
This is Nolante saying, like, one of the biggest things that are needed by Arsenal, or if not, some might say Chelsea as well could be in that list. But
Chelsea were interested in. But you can't overestimate or underestimate what that gambling ban did to him as a profile player. It went kind of beyond that. Like if you're a club, if you're a manager, sorry, if you're a coach, yeah, you're there going, yeah, get the guy in. He's 20 goals a season. Well,
mhm.
not 20 in the league, but guy's a stone cold killer. Yada yada yada. Get him in. But clubs will be looking at his age, looking at what he wants money wise, because apparently he was asking for big bucks because
No,
he
yeah, he
kind of
was looking for his. That's because he's also at that age where he needs that big payday.
big payday, final payday, and
Yeah,
look,
he's
fair
at
play to you.
28. He's not going to get another big. He's not going to
Yeah,
get another big contract at 32 or whatever. Whenever, because you're probably going to try to sign a 3-4 year deal wherever you go. So
he should have gone to West Ham. To me, he should have gone to a West Ham. If he'd have gone to a West Ham, he would have played every single game of the week.
probably.
He would have been their main guy, and they're his level, just below the elite, but above, the mid-table. Because you
Mm,
missed out. You've missed out on your Man City, Real Madrid, Liverpool move. Those are gone, right?
mhm.
But he could go to a West Ham, get 250 a week maybe, and get himself up to 320 with bonuses, scoring penalties all day long, all that stuff. He could have done that. He probably should have done that, but West Ham wouldn't. I mean, they've already got a Paqueta. I mean, what do they want to do? But they see Paqueta and Tony sitting in the corner, talking over their huddled over their phones. You think, oh shit, you know. But that's his level. But
Right.
he's gone to Saudi. He probably, he's going to be happy enough there. Probably be back in 8 months on loan somewhere. Don't hold your breath on that one. A lot of these guys, they go over there, especially the English lads. It's a big, big culture shock.
Hmm.
So don't,
Oh, it's definitely going to be a big. Well, it's going to be a big, big culture shock considering that gambling is not it's not allowed at all.
maybe
So
it's like an alcoholic going to like one of those dry states or something.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe he thinks that's like, if I go there, and then there's a guy showing up at his hotel, go, Mr. Tony, no, if you want to, Mister, you want to have a gamble, you want to have a bet somewhere, I'm your guy.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
maybe.
There's lots of things are illegal here, but if you're rich and famous, you can do stuff.
I
But
saw that
yeah,
people put in the chat, Virgil, Bernie of a shout that Chiesa is going to be our player of the season.
yeah,
That's a shout. For Pops, it's King Mo for
yeah. It's
player
Mo
of the
for me.
season.
It's Mo for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
think I think Mo is going out on full full send, full Mo. Also, he's like, if this come in my last year, I'm not going to be one of those, walking out. He's going to walk out with his second best, third best season for us. I reckon he's not happy about last year. I don't think he's happy about last year at all. So I think he's going to go and just say, look, you're going to see one of the best seasons from me,
Mm,
regardless of what happens.
hmm.
If I stay, even if I have to go, you know, he'll be, if it's the last game of the season and he's leaving on a free, and if you break your leg, you might not get that new contract somewhere else, and he has a pain in his leg, he's going out and playing 90 minutes the last game of the season at 100%.
Mm.
That's like, he's not one of those guys who's going to start phoning it in. He's saying, "This is my last season. It's going to be the best season I can possibly make it."
Right.
That's the way I
Well
can see him.
then,
He's already at that level now. He's back to a very, very high level right
yeah.
now. Numbers wise, minutes wise. He's already back at that peak level, so he's not letting up at all.
Real quick before I even venture into making a stab at my guess, does your player of the season have to be a player that has? Can your player of the season be a player that has phenomenal games in important games, or has consistent? Let's say he's like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 the entire
That's
year.
purely a personal choice.
I know that is. I'm asking.
No. It's you can pick. I mean,
I'm just asking what it is. I'm just asking for context.
No player. Well, we all said player of the season. I mean, we all rapid fire player of the season. So who's your That's what I meant. Player rapid fire. Who's going to be the guy? So we don't. Yeah, I mean, I know you like your context and caveats and all that, but it was just without going too deep into it.
I got you. Because I mean, if that's I still have a feeling.
No, it's not. That's it's just the same criteria that everyone else had.
Okay.
Basically. So.
All right. Yeah. Because I mean, there could be a shot for some of these players that are stepping up. Certainly. I'll stick my neck out, and like I always do, and I'll say Darwin will be a player.
Be ridiculous. You never stick your neck out.
Oh yeah,
you're like a turtle. Your neck is always in.
Yeah.
What about this? What about this? So yeah, it's so very rarely you stick your neck out. But Darwin player of the season, okay.
Come on. I stuck my neck out for Endo. I've stuck my neck out for Gravo.
No, you don't have to stick your neck out. Who do you believe? Do you believe Darwin will be our player of the season? Say him. If you actually
believe it. I want to believe. Yes.
What's that from? X-Files? Yeah, that's the X-Files.
Yes, that is. I am Fox right now. Fox Mulder.
Yeah, Fox Muldering for Darwin. and like I'm going to
be going.
Yeah. I don't think this Darwin Núñez really exists. I think he's a figment of your imagination.
Right.
Are you sure he's real?
See a poster of Darwin getting beamed up by aliens or something like that in the background. The last team I was going to ask you for is who's going to be POTS for the Red Devils?
I knew you were going to say Man United. Okay, Manchester United. Their best player this season will be. Oh man,
I know it hurts. I know it hurts.
No, it won't hurt if I pick someone bad and say that he's going to be the best player for them. So, no, I think they're genuinely their best player this season will probably still be Bruno.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's the most they'll be really crappy. But just every single week, he'll just do his thing. And when you look back at it, it'll just be he'll have Bruno contributions and numbers, but they're all terrible.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. All right, just asking. I saw some of the chat.
I think maybe
a shot for Bruno from Red Armchair Supporter. Got a shot for Ahmad from Bernie, and I will, Bernie, by the way. I will. Bernie, I definitely think he's going to be certainly a player that we're going to have moments. That's why I was asking what people feel about when it comes to who their player of the season is. Again, you can say what you want about Darwin's performance last year or the year before that, but he had some incredible moments, and if you have enough collection of those moments, sometimes you can kind of stand out as the player of the season because you won a cup for us, or because your actions got us a win against City, or a win against United, or something like that. Those kind of games kind of stand out a little bit more than your average play. What else do we have here? Yeah, I know, Marion. She's saying when she thinks of Man U, you get brain freeze. I got you. Bonker says let Casemiro play every week, and then let cards lie where they will.
Put it down, will you?
Asian Pop says Kobe is going to be their player of the season. That's a shout.
Well, no, just for extra context for anybody that wants it. Then, so player of the season would be the best player over the course of the entire season. So I suppose that would rule out Mr. Moments. So whoever you think the best player over the entire course of the season would be,
right?
As opposed to who would be the most.
That's Brian's
interpretation. No, I just mean player of the season.
You have your own interpretations, people.
No. You asked for context. You said, "Do you?"
Yes, I know. I did. That's why I know.
No, but okay. But how would you define player of the season? The player who had like 5 games that are the best player. So I was just saying, if somebody wanted to say how would I define it, that's how I define player of the season would be
player of the season. Is that
the player
now,
who's been the
player of the season? You're talking about
the course of the season.
Right? Are you talking just Premier League player of the season, or are you talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about Premier. Okay. Yeah, of course. We're just that's the
only thing, because I'm saying, like, look, if
if he scored a Champions League final, it doesn't matter.
Having an incredible run in the Champions League and gets us to the final like that, I can say, or Diego gets us there because of the final, gets us to a final.
But that's what. No. So the player. Okay, so the Premier League player of the season. Just who would
why I might have a little bit of bias.
Who would that be?
By the way, is because I just saw a funny clip with Darwin in it, and he was asked about. I think he was asked something about who's going to have the most assists this year, and he put most. I think he said Salah is going to have the most assists, and chances are, if he has the most assists or has a lot of assists, chances are it would probably be Darwin Nunez or someone on the end of those assists. So I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. Mo Salah will have a phenomenal year, but I'm just getting those goals and kind of breaking out that shell that people have put Darwin in could be a difference maker, in my opinion. He has some good wins for us too. That's why. But who knows?
I just think the shell is. I think the shell is. Klopp put him in the shell. The last 3-4 games, Arne Slot kept him in the shell. You can't make moments or have moments.
You got to have opportunities to make moments.
If you're not on the pitch. Not on the pitch. So again, it's like, right, okay, if you're saying
I think he'll get his opportunity.
But this is what we're saying, like I'm talking about Lenny Yoro earlier on. Potential could be. It's all like, okay, what can we see so far?
Right.
Right now, it's just like we've got another manager who isn't playing the guy. So is it going to be an opportunity for him? Like, is it going to be Jota has to get injured or Jota has to drop out? Because like we did it with the last game. So how do you change this team? You don't change this team. Same 11 next week. If this is a winning team that's playing well. So it's about an opportunities thing for him to get in.
It is.
He's back. He's back to square one, I think, and I don't think he's someone that was looking to be sold, but
he's not.
He's stylistically very different to Jota.
Happy with Liverpool, and he's looking forward to making, working his tail off.
No, he's not on the for sale list. No, I just mean he's not on the for sale list. I don't think he's someone we're looking to sell. But like what I'm saying is like. He's stylistically very, very different to Jota.
Okay, Brian.
So I'm not. No, it's.
I know, right? You gave your nominee, and like I didn't say.
No, I'm not putting. I've moved beyond. I've moved beyond talking about that bit. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to talk about something else. I'm just saying, the Nunez and Jota are two totally different players, and Jota is starting right now. What I'm trying to say is, if you let me get on, I've moved on from. I'm not digging out your thing at all. You said what it is. That's cool. What I'm trying to say is, one of the things that I'm really interested to see with Slot that we haven't seen so far is how we play with Darwin Nunez.
Yeah,
because we're playing in a certain way right now. Yeah, and if you were to put Nunez in Jota's position, it's not square pegs round hole, but it's like putting in two very different types of players. So what will we look like when we have Nunes in that line?
I think,
How
yeah,
will
it'll
we
be a
play?
different
Because it will
dynamic.
have to be
It'll be a
different.
different
Yeah,
dynamic.
and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's something I'm really interested to see is because he
Yeah.
will start a game,
Yeah.
but it's how does he plan to use them?
I think he
Because
actually will
when
start the next game. Actually, despite Diego getting 2 goals with, I think he got 2 goals. Yeah, he got 2 goals. I think with Portugal over the weekend. Um, I think he'll start the next game. I think he'll start against Forest at home.
yeah, and when he comes and when he does, we've seen this, and I know he's already. It's the first thing people are liking to criticize him
Hmm.
for because they have to do it. But when you ask a lot of questions, he gives like the answer.
Hmm.
So when you um when you bring him in and after the game, someone will ask him, why did you do it? What's different? He will come straight out and say it because that's the way he's been doing it. So I'm waiting to hear that from him
Right.
because he's really straightforward. Like when a journalist asks him afterwards, what is the difference between Nunes and Jota? He will literally come out and say, well, he does this and he does that, and that's what I want to do with him because
Yeah.
that's what he's
No.
showing. No, people are criticizing him for that. Well, he's giving away his secrets. It's like no, he's not. He's just answering straight questions. He's not
Oh,
telling you the recipes.
that's interesting. You
You
said
know,
that too. I thought about that because I know how much I know. It's not like he wrote a book or something like that. I get that,
yeah,
like Pep did or whatever. But he did sit there after the post match interview. Slot did sit there and pretty much break down what they were expecting, what they thought they
yeah,
would do, and how they basically countered it or how they prepared for it. And he gave away a lot of the perspectives of why he believed we had the right system in play to beat the Red
yeah. It's
Devils.
fine after the game. I don't mind it at all after the game. Like there was people saying, "Oh, he's telling other people what he's going to do." He's like, "No, he's not. He just told you what he did against United.
Mhm.
If you ask him what are you going to do in your next game, he won't tell you.
Mhm.
I mean, he's all more than happy to tell you afterwards. Oh well, we did this and we did that. It's not that. Oh, that means that's what they're going to do next week. That's what I think Roy Keane was saying. Or someone was like, oh, why is he giving away what his plans are? It's like, no, he's just telling you what just happened. He's
Mhm.
not telling
Mhm.
you what he's going to do next week against Arsenal or against Pep. And I like
This
that. I'm all for that. That's fine. Come out and be honest because it puts to bed a lot of arguments when a coach actually comes out and says certain things. Because
right.
Klopp was always very euphemistic,
Mhm.
and like Carragher was saying, he'd always rather talk about, oh, look, it was a good game from a kind of an emotional point of view. Klopp would talk about the game rather than go into what they were actually doing tactically. So that left a lot of open space for people to try and fill in. Whereas sometimes Slot will come out and go, no, we didn't do that. We just did that. And be, oh, okay, cool. It's, I don't know. I prefer it. I think it's more interesting, not as entertaining,
Right.
as Klopp with all the stuff, but it's a little bit more interesting, maybe.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy for that prediction to happen. Maybe I'm going more with my heart than my head there, but we'll see. If I'm wrong,
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
bonkers.
And this is
We'll go
like
over them later.
this was like rapid fire. It wasn't necessarily me really putting that because there's a lot of players I think that could be in that list. There's a lot of people that were
Yeah,
spoken on in the chat. All are viable considerations for that mantle. I think you could say maybe for a Dominic Szoboszlai, I think he's gonna have a good year this year. I think that obviously my praise of Gravenberch, and I think he'll have another
they're
good
all
year.
going to have a good year.
Have a breakout year this
All
year.
right.
Virgil van Dijk, obviously Ali doing settings, putting on settings. Ibu if he can stay healthy. Diego if he can stay healthy.
You're just going to name the whole 11 now. You've just named the whole 11.
Almost. Obviously Lucho, but I
Yeah,
mean, I just don't.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm not. I mean, Robbo. I think Robbo will have a great year. I don't know if he's going to have a player
Yeah.
of the season year
There
or
you
not.
go. You got the whole 11. Yeah.
I just
There you
said
go.
no. I
You got
said
the
that
whole
he
11.
wouldn't. He wouldn't. I don't think Robbo's going to be in that list. I don't think.
No, I know.
I don't think
I know. Come on.
McAllister's going to
I
be
just,
in that list.
yeah, it was just quick fire. Name one, move
Yeah,
on.
totally. Totally.
We
Well,
all,
we got the
we
quick
all
fire
know.
shout out for for my Nunez,
Try
for the
to.
Nunez army. And there were some other shouts in the chat for some good players as well. You had your chat, Mo being obvious front runner, and who else? Oops. And also obviously Chiesa and VVD is a strong shout too. Yeah, but
Chiesa ain't going to get it, Marion. Sorry. I don't think Chiesa is going to do it. Maybe next year.
Maybe. I mean, hey, there's there's always those opportunities that you never know what the season's going to bring you. It's about being prepared and making the most of the opportunity. Those sliding
That's what I just
doors.
said. I don't think.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I don't think.
Okay.
Not saying he won't. Just saying I don't think. You got to ask.
Yeah.
You got to be simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just simple. Yes or no. Chiesa, no. Definitely. Just if he wins our player of the season, that's going to be a crazy season. Something crazy.
I did say Mo by saying the other. I put the other shouts. Those Mo.
He named everybody, Pop.
I named everybody. I almost named the entire front line. Yeah.
All bases were covered.
I didn't say Trent actually in that list. Actually, that's the name I didn't say. You never know, but goals usually get you that mantle, and it'll probably be someone on that.
Man. Mo was decided. It's going to be his last ever show, and it's going to be on fire. He's going to burn down the stage. Trash.
There you go.
Trash the whole lot. It's going to be Mo.
Trash the whole lot.
Put your money on it. Hopefully, I mean, I'd give him a very, very, very good chance of getting a breaking 20 league goals from where he's already at.
Oh,
That's
you know what?
where
Real
I'd go
quick.
At this.
Shoot, there was something else I wanted to talk about today, but we're already at the 2:10 mark. I can save it for tomorrow. It's okay. I can save it for tomorrow. It's about a player. It's about a player that apparently we are possibly going to go in for in January, in the January market. So, but it will be determined upon. It'll be heavily determined upon what happens with Virgil, I think, if we end up making a real splash of cash for this particular player. I'll bring it up tomorrow on tomorrow's show. Sign the contracts. That's exactly Bajan Pops. Sign the contract. But is there anything you want to talk about before we bounce out of here? You there, Brian?
Oh, chat or me? Me?
Yeah. Or the chat. You or the chat, yes.
Lazo, it has to be minimum 20 and 10. Yeah, I think he's on Pops at this stage. I think if you extrapolate that, the rate he's at, you could be looking at another crazy season for him, definitely. But no, just the stuff that's going on at Chelsea is very interesting to me. I mean, it's not very interesting to anybody else, but as if it couldn't get any more insane there. Now there's a lot more stuff going on there, which is. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it. This stuff has been played out now. People criticize our owners and the way we're run and all that. Oh, if we did this and we did that, and we just ignore all the other things. Like Chelsea is eating itself alive from the inside. Having spent £1 billion just to now be, now the owners are fighting. Now they want it. Now there's a civil war at Chelsea between the owners. I mean, like, we get slagged, our owners get slagged off for everything that's happened over the last 10 years. I mean, can you imagine if this kind of stuff was happening here? I just think we need to look around. Sometimes we just need to look around and see. You might not like it, but we are far from the worst house on the street. I mean, there's houses on the street with fucking literally people fighting in the front yard every night. We are cool. We are okay.
Yeah.
We are not the worst house on the street at all. But apparently, if you listen to some of our fans, you're the worst owners in history. Look at these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all on the front pages. It's all out there. It's everybody. Oh, what's going to happen to Chelsea next? Yada yada. Now it's gone up to boardroom level. Now they're
Mhm.
fighting about that stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I just that's the one that's been catching because there's nothing happening, and the papers are loving it because there's nothing happening. So there's the owners of Chelsea fighting each other. It's I mean it just couldn't get any better really. But
I didn't
like I
mention
said,
this.
be careful what you wish for.
Yes, yes, certainly. And just like Pops is saying too, careful what you wish for. Eric Seven Hog returned to manage like Klopp and losing. He ended up doing I guess he did some
Oh, he
type of.
did something. Yeah, someone was talking about that earlier on. He did the same thing. Yeah, 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 and he lost his version of the Klopp game.
Mhm.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's not too surprising. Yeah, yeah, Eric, I can pick up what game it was for you. Which is kind of crazy because I mean, I can understand. I can understand Klopp doing that, but Eric Ten Hag's an active manager too. That becomes
Yeah, he active managers probably shouldn't be doing that.
yeah, that's why it's kind of weird.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Hmm.
You're opening yourself up to what's he doing over there type stories.
I'm telling you,
Anyway,
Bernie, that locker room at Chelsea is a wild locker room. I'm sure. There's a reason why there's not a doors. It's just a rotating door, basically.
yeah, just
It's one of those rotating doors.
half of them are in the porta cabin outside in the car park getting changed. There's not even room enough.
Yeah.
There's there's extra. Yeah, they're getting changed in the kids' changing rooms. All of that stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, 42. I think looked at the last time.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it was Bonkers that brought it. Pops brought it up again, but I think it was Bonkers that brought up. I think it was Bonkers that brought up the actual game that he ended up doing for FC Utrecht, right? FC
Oh,
Utrecht.
you tracked.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he ended up losing the game, but and I think he was going up against. I forget who they're going up against. I forget the coach he went up against, but all the same, all the same. I'll bring up that name that I was going to bring up today for you tomorrow. So that's a little bit of a teaser for you. It's a name that you guys would probably like to hear about, considering it is a center back of interest for Liverpool that apparently we are very interested in making a effort to bring in over the January window. So it would be interesting. This player reportedly is open to making the move to Liverpool, by the way. So it's not a case of he doesn't want it. We'd have to convince him or something on those lines. So it should be interesting. It should be interesting. But yes, is there anything else though the chat wants to bring up, or anything else that you would like to bring up before we allow for the people to enjoy the rest of their Monday on this 9/9? It's like
No, we're all good.
nine,
I'm all
nine,
good. Yeah.
nine, nine. No. Nothing else. Okay.
No, no, I'm all good.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just making sure that I was just reading the chat, just making sure I didn't miss any questions or anything. But again, always a fun ride in the Liverbird with all of you Reds and our guests that aren't Reds as well. You're welcome to find a seat on the Liverbird and enjoy the flying high above in the sky as we go over some of the daily news, go over some of just the opinions of the chat and the panel. And yes,
Maybe Bernie.
I
Maybe
think so.
he doesn't release his social his social diary into the
Yeah,
professional world. But you never know what the
yeah,
you
you never
absolutely
know.
never know.
You never know. So, he's got you know, comes to his comes to Lee's love life, we kind of let it lie where it's gonna lie. So good luck with the double with the date if he is out on that. And best of luck to everyone with the rest of their day. Best of or just the best actually with the rest of your day or evening, whichever is the case. And again, I would love to say thank you to Brian for joining us today as well. Appreciate that. He's already given a shout. Oh, big up Lloyd in the house.
No problem. Hi,
Oh,
Lloyd.
yeah.
All right.
Yes,
Yeah,
Lloyd.
yeah.
Definitely, Lloyd. You gotta do a call when we do a call in. You'll have to definitely join us for a call in sometime. I would love to chop it up with you again. Lloyd is a really cool person and someone that I enjoy hearing his points and his opinions. Definitely. Big up to Lloyd. And shout out to Jimmy. I don't know if I said hello to Jimmy or not
Yeah,
earlier,
enjoy.
but shout out to Jimmy, of course. Definitely big shouts. But
Yeah, Jimmy's been very loyal in every night.
oh, for
Even if
sure.
it's late, he always pops in. He always pops in.
Yep. Richard as well. I don't know if I said hello to Richard, but big up to Richard as well. Um, all the same, join us tomorrow. I'll have that name that I was talking about earlier involved with the discussion tomorrow. And I'll have other news as well. Enjoyed. And we also will be one step closer to our Continental Cup. We're going to be doing the Continental Cup this week. So, if you guys want to pick a continent that you guys want to, put
Represent.
in your choices for. Be sure to to jot them down and have them prepared. Most likely, we'll be doing that show either Wednesday or Thursday. So most likely Wednesday because I know we wanted to keep JK a part of it, and it's a little difficult for JK to join us on Thursdays. So we
Yeah,
might.
just so in case anyone is wondering what that is, it's basically the best 11 players from every continent. So that's what we're doing. So if you want to pick a continent, and best 11 players from Africa, best 11 from Europe, all that. That's what it
Current
is. So
players too,
yeah,
not all time, just current players. By the way, we'll do an all time as well at some point, but we're doing current players. So just keep that in mind. This we don't hear like Pele or something like that, Maradona, from like South America or something like that. But yes, people, we're going to be bringing it to an end here. Again, thank you for joining us today. Been a pleasure always to be your captain for this flight, and we will see you tomorrow. And as always, to the faithful, you know what it is. Up the Reds, people. Up the Reds. We'll see you soon. Take care, guys.